Hi everyone, this is Linda from After Midnight Art Stamps here at the Midnight Art Ranch in beautiful Sonoyta, Arizona. I've had quite a few of you email me and call me regarding this wonderful fantasy opals paper that Sabora LeRae showed on a gourd that she did. And this paper was created by our own Jenny Calkins of Studio Jenny. And it's a wonderful way to use up scrap fantasy film. And if you don't have scrap, you're going to want to create your own scrap when you see how beautiful this is. If you come to our booth at any of the stamp conventions that we do a make and take. We create a pendant using our Midnight Art glass, our beautiful opals embossing enamels, fantasy film, some of our stamps. As a result of creating that pendant, we end up with scrap fantasy film. We don't throw it away. As you can see, I have a nice container full of it here that we use bits and pieces of in various other projects. But Jenny came up with this wonderful technique of using these scraps to create a sheet of opals paper. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very easy to do. You just lay out your scraps, and you want to use various colors. So if you have to purchase the fantasy film, if you don't have the scraps, you want to get 3 or 4 different colors because you want a lot of color in this. And you can split it with friends. Fantasy film comes in a package that looks like this. There are 14 different colors. This particular one is Blue Nile, just happens to be my personal favorite, but they're all beautiful, so it doesn't really matter which colors you pick. You're going to get beautiful results. And you want to lay these around so that you don't have any big holes. But if you do come up with holes, I'll show you how to fix that. Now you can make a large sheet. I tend to make smaller sheets, but you can make it as large as this craft sheet if you want to. It's up to you. Add a few more here, and then I'll show you. Gotta throw some Blue Nile in since it's my personal favorite. There's some Blue Nile right there. And we'll add another piece. Over here. Okay, now our next step is to take our clear opals embossing enamels. It's called Franklin. It comes in a jar like this. Franklin stays very clear, and this is going to be the glue that binds our piece of fantasy opals paper together. Opals come in 35 different colors. They're all gorgeous. You can see them on our website. Better yet, stop by our booth at one of the conventions and see them up close and personal, because the website just doesn't do them justice. The colors are so beautiful. Now, I'm going to take, this is my jar of opals, and you can see we go through a lot of the clear as well as the other colors. And we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of the opals over these scraps. It doesn't take a whole lot. That's going to act as the glue to bind these scraps together. Now we're going to cover that with another craft sheet. And if you don't have craft sheets, you can use kitchen parchment. They both work. Now I'm going to take an iron. This is a very old travel iron that I carried with me a lot when I worked for the government. Thankfully, hotels and motels now just about all provide irons, so I don't have to lug them around in my suitcase anymore. Now, this is on the highest setting. I have removed the water attachment, so there's no steam. You don't want steam. You want just the dry iron, highest heat setting. And what we want to do is melt those OPALS embossing enamels. And create our sheet of paper. And you can lift up your craft sheet periodically to see how it's doing, see if they're melted. And this is looking pretty good. Now, I don't have any holes in this, but if I had a hole, we'll pretend we have a hole. We can fix that by laying another piece of Fantasy Foam, let's put it over here, on here. Putting our craft sheet back on and applying heat. You don't even have to apply any more opals. There's enough on there that it will seal this in. Now, the first time I saw this, Jenny did a demo for us at the retreat we had here in September. And of course, as soon as Deborah LeRae saw this, the wheels were turning and her muse was jumping up and down. So she has created some really wonderful techniques using this paper. Now, what I do is I turn it over and I give it just one more quick shot with the iron. Make sure all those opals are melted. So now you have this beautiful sheet of Fantasy Opals paper. I hope you can see all these colors. It just gets so spectacular. You can also die cut this. So I cut this butterfly out with one of the Wizard butterfly dies. I ran it through the Wizard. So you can create little things. Now, you do have to layer it in between a couple pieces of paper in order to die cut it. So be aware of that.